Welcome to the next instalment of what's going on with Everton's new stadium. Today, we'll give you the lowdown on how the stadium development expects to drain itself, so you don't have to rely on games like this. As with all developments, drainage is divided into two types: surface water, essentially rainwater, and foul, which includes wastewater from taps and toilets. These two flows will be served by separate drainage systems, which will both have different discharge points. In the case of foul, this is generally a public combined sewer, and fortunately enough for this development, a combined sewer runs directly underneath Regent Road, approximately 5 metres below ground and 900mm in diameter, which the development can tap into. As you can expect, the sewer eventually flows into the wastewater treatment plant, which is directly north of the stadium. As for the surface water flows, they are normally discharged into a local watercourse or surface water sewer. Given the dock location and being directly next to coastal waters, it would naturally make sense that the surface water from the site would be discharged into the sea. Given the size of the watercourse, it is the sea after all, no restriction on the rate of discharge is required, so no on-site storage for the surface water flows will be needed, which will make the drainage design a hell of a lot easier.
Excelente!
What's going to happen to the pitch drainage, you may ask? Well, runoff from the pitch will be collected by a series of pipes underneath the turf, in which gravity will take the water to a collection point in the southeast corner of the pitch. Due to the large flows that would enter the foul system in big storm events, and hence require bigger pipes, some sort of storage is required to hold back the water before entering the site-wide foul system. This will be done in the form of a culvert 43 metres long and 2.5 metres wide underneath the southeast section of the stadium. Cool stuff, eh?
Unbelievable!
Now let's talk more about the surface water drainage design. Systems are designed with flooding in mind and have to meet resilience requirements set out by local authorities, Liverpool City Council in this case. For LCC, they have requirements that drainage systems do not allow water to leave the system. In the 30-year storm event and in the 100-year storm events, the systems can flood as long as it does not affect any of the buildings on the site or leaves the site to pose risk to other properties. For the Greta Thunbergs of the world, don't worry, an allowance of 40% increase in flows is included in the drainage design for the future effects of climate change. Compared to years gone by, when there was a more laissez-faire approach to treatment of surface water, things have got a lot tighter nowadays, and treatment methods now form an integral part of surface water drainage systems. To determine the level of treatment required on the site, different areas are classified as having different pollution levels as defined by the Holy Bible for Drainage Engineering, the SUDS manual. Apart from the pitch drainage and the commercial delivery areas, which will go into the foul network, the development has been classed as a low pollution hazard level due to it being low trafficked and a predominantly pedestrian development, which subsequently impacts the proposed treatment method. A popular method of treatment is through the use of sustainable urban drainage, or SUDS, which is supposed to mimic more natural ways of treatment through the use of various techniques, whether that be filter drains, permeable paving or swales, all things you are likely to have seen out and about.
Look at the size of that fucker!
Given the constraints of the site, such as no ground infiltration and lack of soft landscaping, it was deemed unfeasible to implement SUDS on the development, so a more mechanical form of treatment has been proposed through the use of something called a downstream defender. What on earth does that do, you may ask? Well, surface water will enter the downstream defender, where a vortex will allow sedimentation from the runoff to sink to the bottom, whilst any hydrocarbons and crisp packets will float to the top, with the treated water exiting the system via an outfall pipe. There are currently 3 systems proposed to treat surface water on the development before it is discharged into the dock at 3 different points, 2 below the proposed noise isolation structure in the north of the site, and the other being directly into the Albert Dock to the south of the stadium. This is to minimise the number of penetrations into the dock walls, which are Grade 2 listed structures. A series of channel drains will be added all around the public realm areas of development to collect runoff which falls on the site and discharging it into the surface water system. In addition to all this, a rainwater harvesting system is proposed in the northeastern area of the site, which will collect rainwater for it to be used for a multitude of purposes, including water in the pitch or flushing the toilets. And that's the proposed drainage design in a nutshell. If you haven't fallen asleep already, then props to you.
More than you believe. More than you believe, I'm happy.
You aren't showing it.
I'm so happy, believe me.
And join us in the next instalment where we will tell you how they actually managed to build the stadium within a dock, where there's water already in there. So stay tuned